We now have Mr. Sumit Gupta, Managing Committee Member of IPGA or India Pulses and Grains Association, now joining us. Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. Global wheat prices are under pressure due to record global wheat production. But on the flip side, back home, wheat prices, I believe, in Delhi market are much higher than what they were same time last year. Tell us, what is the on-ground reality when it comes to prices both in the domestic market as well as in the international market?
It's a very good question. I will put this way. When we are saying, let's divide this question into two parts, one, India, and second, global. Let's look at the Indian reality. India prices are all-time high. Delhi wheat prices are not coming off. The simple reason it is portraying that there is a demand-supply gap. Our ending stock, which is there with the government, is coming down. This year, ending stock will be somewhere in the range of 8 to 9 million tons. And that means government will have limited capacity to intervene in the domestic market and bring the prices down. Even with a higher rice stock, that signifies only one thing, that there is a shortage of wheat in the domestic market. Number two, on the flip side, on the global, if you look at the global market, we are going through a bearish market in almost every commodity, whether it's beans, oilseed, meal, and wheat. And if you look at this year production, worldwide production was quite stable, and China is not importing in the quantity they have been importing in the past. Number two, there have been currency issues in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, and other major importing countries, which has actually made the global S&D bit loose, and hence global prices are low. And connecting both things, why Indian prices are not coming off? Because we have a 40% duty. And Indian consumer, in that case, has to price in basis international price plus 40%. And that is where Indian market is trading at this point. So we don't expect Indian prices to come off in the short term.
And Mr. Gupta, since you spoke about inventory and the inventory situation with the government at government warehouses, can you elaborate on this further? What is the inventory situation on ground, and is stock at warehouses higher than same time last year? What is the government, why is the government not aggressively, undertaking open market sales? Help us understand that.
Again, very, very deep question when it comes to Indian wheat SLD. If you let's look at the Indian, reconstruct the Indian stock buffer norms. It is at 7.5 million tons plus 2 million tons of strategic stocks. So government expect itself to have an opening stock of 9.5 million tons on 1st of April 2025. And we are on the pace to achieve that stock. And that is why the run rate in the OMSS is little slower, because we will end our stock at 9.5 million tons. So wants to end our stock at 9.5 million. It limits government's capacity to intervene in the domestic market. Now, from 1st of April, our new procurement season will start, and our MSP is 2,400, 24250. And that means the market which is trading today at 32, 33 has to drop at least $100 a ton or 8,000 rupees a ton to come at the MSP level. So in the coming days, you will see government doing a very aggressive intervention by mode of OMSs, so that they can manage their stock also and bring the prices of wheat in the open market down. So you will see government coming up with strong intervention in the coming days.
Government will come up with strong intervention going forward, but Mr. Gupta, does this mean that the government might offload more wheat in the weeks closer to harvesting season?
Absolutely, ma'am. Let me ask this question. Is it a choice that government has today? It is a compulsion for government, because we have to procure wheat for the coming season also. Let's look at very ballpark number. Today, government puts a number of wheat production between 110 to 115 million tons, depending on year. And at 9.5 million tons of buffer stock, we have less than 1 million ton, 1 month of wheat stock in the country. There cannot be a much more tighter wheat S&D than this. And keeping this factor in mind, it is impossible that we can do much more aggressive intervention, or we can wait for wheat prices to stay at this level, because it may hamper government procurement program in the coming year. So yes, government will be very aggressive in the coming days.
Government will take note of all these factors going forward. But Mr. Gupta, with global weather agencies now forecasting present mild La Nina conditions, which typically bring cooler than average temperatures in India, what will the impact be on wheat crop over the next, say, 6 to 8 months?
Actually, La Nina is fading worldwide, but if you look at the weather maps and weather forecast, in last what has happened in last 10 days and the forecast for next 15, 20 days or a month, weather temperature is expected to stay much warmer than normal. And it is a sign of alarm, I believe, especially in central and western India, where temperatures have gone up faster than anticipated. So it may impact Indian wheat yields negatively. Okay. Though nothing has happened as of now, we should not raise a flag at this moment, but we need to watch it very closely. And that is where the next year wheat crop expectation are going to play a very important role on what government is going to do henceforth. Temperatures are warmer than normal, and which is not good for wheat.
Temperature is warmer than normal, which is not good for wheat crop. That's the word coming in. But since budget is also around the corner and India has imposed 40% import duty on wheat, any chances of this being lowered in the upcoming budget?
I don't see it happening as of now till July at least, because government will always give first chance to Indian farmer. Government has managed wheat S&D quite well in last 3, 4 years by export ban and then lowering the stocks and managing domestic inflation. But I will put it this way: for a country of 1.4 billion people, we have to move from management to at least make sure that there is an ample availability of food grains in the country. And in case of wheat, prices are only going up because wheat availability is limited. At some point in time, government has to move away from the control mindset to availability mindset, where we make wheat available to everyone in the country at affordable prices. And potentially, it can only happen from my point of view, if I have to go from government policy decision point of view, towards July, not earlier than that.
Understood. We get that point. And apart from this, any other expectations from the upcoming budget this Saturday?
I think it's a very important budget, and especially when India's per capita income is increasing, it becomes altogether more important. Why? So food grain demand is going to go up in the years to come. And our food grain policy as of now, number one, is focused inwards. That is Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is very good thing. We also need to keep an open mind towards how to meet the growing food demand. If we are not going to do it more proactively, as we have not done in past couple of years, it is going to lead to domestic inflation and knee-jerk reaction from government from time to time. So I believe government should look towards some long-term measure in which they define a formula. Okay, prices goes above a certain percentage point, then in domestic market, then the duty structure will be a flexible duty structure, and it will give a long-term guidance both to government, to trade, and private participant to plan their expansion. Because I personally believe if India has to, we have to grow make in India in food grains, in processing, in agriculture. It is not possible, number one, without having a strong futures, and number two, without having a strong international linkage. We cannot always look towards the export because we have to see and do a better demand planning. And that's where government needs to have a very, very robust numbers towards S&D planning, demand planning of this country. And that is where I believe government should take a step towards making scientific assessment of both supply and demand and taking rational steps which are timely steps basis those numbers.
Those are some of the expectations from the upcoming budget. Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now and helping us decode what the implications could be of rising wheat prices in the domestic markets.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.